Hello, good afternoon from New Zealand. I'm Lynnaire Johnston, the Word Wizard, and welcome to this LinkAbility webinar where we're going to look at how to do a video for LinkedIn. Now, because this is not an area of expertise for me, I've invited international video coach Gillian Whitney to join us from Las Vegas today. Now, if you're not already connected to Gillian on LinkedIn, I advise that you do so because she shares a huge amount of amazing information all the time. But here today, Gillian and I will be talking about all aspects of video as it relates to posting on LinkedIn. At the end, we'll answer any questions that you've written in the chat box over the next half, 3/4 of an hour. We're also recording this so that you can watch the replay anytime that you like, and we'll send you the link for that tomorrow. And we'll be using the email address that you registered for this webinar with. Now, as you know, I'm the author of LinkAbility, 4 powerful strategies to maximize your LinkedIn success. And one of those 4 strategies is publishing on LinkedIn. And one of the publishing formats available to all of us is video. But publishing videos in the newsfeed is only one of the ways that video is useful on LinkedIn. We can also use them on our profiles, particularly in the featured section. And I've long advocated that people record a short introductory video about themselves and display it there. So you can imagine how pleased I was when LinkedIn recently announced that it was rolling out profile videos. These will go where your profile photo currently sits and can be up to 20 seconds long. So this is another reason we need to master the art of video on LinkedIn so that we can make good use of this feature and stand out from those around us. So then now let's get on with talking about video with Gillian Whitney. So thanks for joining us today, Gillian. Would I be right in thinking that video is one of the most important posting formats on LinkedIn?
I have to say that if content is queen, video is the king. It is the most important form of content, but it needs to be done right, and it needs to be done in part of your whole LinkedIn strategy. So I never say just video, it's just a part of the recipe for success.
All right, well, today I want to talk about the different aspects of putting together a good video for LinkedIn, because I've seen a lot in my time working with LinkedIn. Some of them are great. Some of them go at the other end of the scale, it must be said. So what I want to do is start by asking you to define what makes a great video on LinkedIn that people are going to want to watch. What are the key ingredients that a good video needs to have?
Key ingredient is it has to be for your ideal target market, your ideal customer, and you must always imagine them on the other side of the camera. And so when you are doing a video, and we'll just talk about the news feed for now, and we'll talk about the other places that you can do video on LinkedIn, but let's just talk about the news feed. You have to realize it's a busy, noisy place, and people are scrolling through. And essentially, we all look at it as radio station, what's in it for me? So as I'm scrolling through, I'm looking for content that's going to help me in my business, or help me, if I'm a job hunter, help me find a job. If I'm a business owner, help me market my business, help me find new customers. It's got to appeal to people that there's value. So video, number one, always leading with value. That is the most important part of video. Lead with value.
All right, so I've heard that there are various technical aspects of video on LinkedIn that are important, and I would like to run them by you for you to tell me whether they're right or whether that's changed, and what it is that we need to be aware of, because I think that one of the things that gets in the way for us all is the technical side of it. And I'm hoping that by the end of our time together today that we'll feel more confident confident in being able to do video. I'm very lucky. I've got a fabulous friend, Wayne Alexander, who helps me with my videos. But I recognise that, and we do some really good work together, but I recognise that there's a need, I think, for more videos that are perhaps a faster turnaround, are a bit more reactive to situations. I may see something on LinkedIn that I want to respond to, and I know that a video is the best way to do it. So frankly, I'm terrified of those, and I want to build up my confidence to be able to do those better, so I'm a little more self-reliant, because they do take an effort to do. So what are the main technical things that we need to remember when we're putting together a video?
Okay, so I'm going to start by saying, first of all, you do not have to be a Hollywood producer. You do not have to have some sort of fancy video with special effects. None of us need to be Steven Spielberg. We just want to do videos that, in marketing terms, allow people to get to know, like, and trust us. And this is the most important thing. And I tell people, make sure your video reflects who you are, so that when your customers, your clients meet with you, they're not surprised. You don't need to have a whole Hollywood crew come in and do your videos. My videos are very real. They're very honest. I make mistakes. I flub up words. I do in Toastmasters what we call a double clutch, where I go, you, we make mistakes. I laugh. I do silly things. But in essence, people say, when I meet you, you're exactly like you are on your videos, and they're knowing who I am. So your videos have to be your brand. And we talk about, what is your brand? Your brand is what people say when you're not in the room. So Lynnaire, what I'd have to say with your brand is LinkedIn professional, LinkedIn doing it right, not that sleazy stuff. It's always ethical, up and up, conversational, making conversations, relationship marketing. That's what your brand is. So you would want your videos to be the same. So if we saw you all of a sudden kind of like just, hey, how you doing? We'd say, that's not her. That's not her. So you want to be who you are. That's the most important thing. And we have to recognize that video is really nothing more than public speaking, but it's now with a camera. And that kind of freaks us out. And I'm going to be really honest with you in that it took me years to come out from the other side of the camera. I was quite comfortable doing screen sharing videos where I was teaching people, because in my heart, that's what I am. I'm a teacher first. I like to teach people how to do it themselves. I don't want to take over and do all your stuff for you. I like to empower people so they can do it themselves. So for me, I had all these hangups. I'm too old. I'm not pretty enough. My eyes aren't the same color. They're not the same size. I got all this curly hair that gets in the way. I felt you had to be these sort of blonde 20-year-olds that look awesome, that are fabulous. They have the little teeny dresses and the high heels. And I went, I'm not that kind of person. But you know what? I don't have to be that person. I just have to be me and be willing to turn on the camera. And I actually have a article on LinkedIn. I'll give everybody the link afterwards, or I'll put it in the chat. You can go read this article, and I think it's like 10 videos about the fear of video, where I just kind of go through what to say, how to get over it, what you need to do to, just break through those barriers of fear. And fear really stands for false evidence appearing real. That's what we see video as, something that is terrifying and afraid to do. But in that essence, we're doing a video right now. Yeah. It's not terrifying. It's like, okay, yeah, there's always that little anxiety, is the tech going to screw up and all those kind of things. But here we are, we're on video, we're talking, and it's a conversation. That's the magic to doing video. Make it a conversation, but what you have to do is you look at that camera lens. I call my lens Lenny the lens, and then that's a real person on the other side. And if I'm busy thinking about the people who need to hear my message, and I say that with everybody, somebody out there on LinkedIn, because I that's where I am all at, LinkedIn. Somebody on LinkedIn needs to hear your message, and you have to make that person more valuable than your fear. And you say to yourself, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm making this video. I don't care if it's perfect. It will never be perfect. You know, we got to be like Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way, but we're never going to be perfect. And if you care about the people you're talking to, your anxiety starts to go away. If you make it a conversation, it just feels weird in the beginning because I feel like I'm talking to myself. But after a while, it starts to get comfortable. And I can give you, as we talk a little bit, I can give you some tips on how to reduce that anxiety, what to do. But the number one thing I tell people is practice. Just turn on your camera. Practice, just get comfortable. Don't show those videos to anybody. You don't have to do a challenge and dare yourself to throw it up on LinkedIn. And I don't even suggest that. Just get comfortable seeing what you do, see what you say. Realize, do I say the word A too much? You begin to learn what are your things, but until you start recording it, you don't know what you're doing wrong. So you just have to start doing it and have a strategy. And we can talk some more about that in a bit. The strategy is important.
I think so too. Now, what I like most about what you have just said, Gillian, and all of that was excellent. But the bit that really struck me as being important is the fact that if you put thinking about the person that you're delivering to, right? So it's not about you, and the fear is about you, right? The fear is about how you look, how you sound, how you come across. Will you be silly? Will you do something wrong? Will you say something stupid? But it's not about that. It's about the value that you can bring to people. And so the other side of that particular coin is that if you are not doing this and not providing that value, then people are missing out on your information and on your knowledge. So in other words, you're withholding from people the things that you really want them to know about or that might benefit them. So I think and that's how I approach writing, copywriting particularly, is you put yourself in the shoes of the person that you're writing about or writing to, who your audience is. And then once you've done that, you start to feel a bit more like them. And so that they get into your head and you can suddenly start to write in a way that reaches them, because it's not about you anymore, it's about them. And I think that that's what you're saying too about video, is think about who it is that you're going to be assisting or helping, and make sure that that's front of mind, not, oh my God, I'm so scared about what I'm doing, because I may not look blonde, 21 and in high heels, and it's been a very long time.
Exactly. I feel exactly the same way. And I always tell people, they don't see what you think they see. You think, oh my gosh, they're looking at this, they're looking at this. They're not. They're really tuned into that radio station of what's in it for me. And they don't notice. They don't care if your nose is big or your hair is goofy. They don't notice. They just want you to solve the problem that they have. So if you've got something cool to share, someone's waiting for it.
Great. So let's move on to content and what kind of things we can share, because I think that's really important, and it holds a lot of people back, I think. One of the things that I recommend a lot to people when I'm helping them with their LinkedIn marketing and posting is that they repurpose their content. So in other words, you might write an article which you then split up into smaller text posts. You might turn it into an image post and a poll and potentially a document as well. Would I be right in thinking that video lends itself to that too?
It's perfect. It's perfect. So I do that a lot. I'll take a blog post. I might take a blog post I wrote years ago, and I could look at it and say, okay, that could be one video, but maybe if it was like the top 10 reasons every small business owner should have a YouTube channel, why would I want to do one video about that? Why don't I just go ahead and split that into a series and just do one video at a time? And that's what you really want to do. You have to kind of think of video as it can't be this like, it's not Netflix, guys. We're on LinkedIn. We're not sitting there, we're not going to binge watch your videos on LinkedIn. We want to just have a nugget and go away. So kind of think of it as like potato chips. You just want to have a few potato chips at a time. So repurpose, take things that you've already done. Take a blog post, like you said, turn that into a video. Can you break it up and have each point be its own little video? And now you've got a series that you could spread out for 10 weeks or something like that. I like to think about what are the things that I am saying to my clients or my customers over and over again, that if I could just make a video, then they would have the answer to that question. So look towards the kind of questions people ask you all the time. That is a clue. Read comments on LinkedIn. That's what I do. Somebody will say, how do you do such and such? And I'll say, boy, I guess I could make a video about that. And then I go, I think I will. A lot of times it's people asking me questions. How do I make a video that's like, a rectangle like this, but how do you make those square videos? So I had to learn how to do it. And then I'm the kind of person that if I learn something, I like to teach it because it makes me feel that I know it even better if I can teach it to somebody else and then they can do it. I'd never like to just assume people, oh, it's intuitive. Everybody can figure out how to do that. No, they can't, because otherwise they would have. So those are the kind of things. Think about the comments, think about the content you already have, think about your customer. And this is huge. Two things. Number one, always begin with the end in mind. What is the goal of what you want your videos to be? So you have to think, why do I even want to do why do I want to do videos? Am I trying to have more, you kind of go back in marketing to the customer journey. It's like, do I want people to know who I am? Maybe I'm the best kept secret in the world. Nobody's ever heard of me. I have this great website. If only I had customers, I know I could sell all these widgets. And people just don't see me. So it could be about brand awareness. It could be about loyalty. It could be testimonials. There's so many different things. You start to kind of just go through the marketing customer journey and you begin to see there's so much content. I'll give you another tip. There's a great thing called answerthepublic.com. It's a website where people, it's actually extremely cool. You just I could type in video marketing and it would show me, here's the questions people are asking about video marketing. Every single one of those could be a form of video that I could make a video about. So the content's out there. Talk about yourself. Talk about why did you get into business? I always tell people the first video, there's 2 videos you should make for LinkedIn. The first video should be introduce yourself. There are 740 million people on LinkedIn, and there's like a new person every 2 seconds. So you have to, you think of it. I like to think of LinkedIn as a gigantic cocktail party, a networking event. And why would I start telling you about stuff if I haven't stopped and said, hey, my name is Jillian Whitney. This is what I do. This is what's kind of maybe interesting about me. So, the first thing that I did was I made a video saying who I am and just introducing myself to the LinkedIn world, posted it to the newsfeed. Then I put it as a featured post and it's the top post on my profile. So if you go to my profile, there you are. You know who I am. I did another video about what do I do as a business? So I said, what's a video coach? And I just did a short little video about that. But I think video number 2 should be a thank you for connecting with me video. I think this is highly important. And whether you want to, some folks, they decide, okay, I'm going to make a custom video for every single person I connect with. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And, quite frankly, if you're a woman, you're going to go, oh, I'm having a bad hair day. I don't have my makeup. I don't have this. I don't have that. There's some days you don't want to do video. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to have a generic thank you for connecting. Don't make it salesy. That's the number one thing about, just like you say in your book, Lynnaire, everything you say in your book is absolutely right on. You are building relationships with people. Don't do videos that say, buy my stuff, because you know what? People just scroll on past. So it should be, a connecting, thanks for connecting video isn't, so here, now I'm going to slide into your DMs and try and send you my PDF and my this and my that and everything else. No, you just want to send a thanks for connecting video that says, hi, I'm really happy we're connected now. Just to let you know, I'm a video coach. If you ever have any questions about video, please let me know. I'm happy to help. And just a fun thing about me, I have 4 citizenships, and I'm Canadian, American, Israeli, Brit, because I'm from the UK as well. So I have 4 citizenships. So I know a lot about living worldwide. And I have a dog called Max. That's just something very light. Nobody feels I'm making it salesy. And I don't have to say your personal name. I can say, hi, this is my welcome, thanks for connecting video that I love to send people. That's a really simple thing to do. So those are the first 2 that I say. Introduce yourself, and then thank you for connecting. Both of those are building relationships on LinkedIn.
All right, so if we all go away from this webinar today and remember nothing else but those 2 points, to do an introductory video that is not salesy about ourselves, and also to do a follow-up thank you for connecting video, then we have probably spent an hour in a very worthwhile way, because I think those 2 things are very important. I will often send people a voice message when I connect with them, and that seems to work really well because people don't expect it. And I think that video would do exactly the same, but more so, because it would be even more unusual. Now, all the time I've been on LinkedIn, I've probably received only half a dozen video messages through the messaging system. And I could probably tell you who they were all from, because they stood out so strongly in my mind that I remember them. And I think that that's what you want to do. You want to stand out, but you want to be personable. You want to come across as approachable. And I think that that's one of the wonderful things about video, and why it's so important to master it on LinkedIn, is because you can put up images and you can write text and do document posts till the cows come home. But until people can see you talking and they can relate to you because you come across as human, warm and approachable but professional, then they're not really going to get to know you. And that's what LinkedIn is all about for all of us, is building those relationships. And so I see video as a really important tool in that particular kind of toolbox, if you like, so that we can then meet the needs of our audience by being trustworthy and building trust so that people will want to do business with us. I think that's exceptionally important. So thank you very much for those great tips. All right. So then what do you think about how long videos should be? I confess that I tend to watch the first half a minute maybe of a video, but unless it really grabs me in that length of time, if it's somebody talking to me, a talking head video, which is what you see quite a lot of, is somebody talking direct to camera, what would your recommendation be about a length for your videos for LinkedIn?
Okay, I would say that you're aiming for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Anything after 2 minutes, they have done studies on this. They found after 2 minutes, just interest drops off. We're just, we're an instant nation. We look at microwaves and say, hurry. We're just like, that's what we do. So just know that that's sort of your boundaries. And what you mentioned a second ago, Lynnaire, is really referred to as a hook, in that we have, I think, like the attention span of a goldfish. I think a goldfish actually has more than us, they're saying now. So you have about 3 to 5 to some people say 8 seconds. There's lots of debates, but literally you must jump right in. So you don't want to fiddle around with, hi, I'm Jillian Whitney. I work at launch. It's like, gone. You almost want to say, stop scrolling. You want to open with a question. You want to just, think of fishing. You want to hook that person into stopping the scroll and paying attention to what you do. And that's one of the reasons why I like a square format of video with the headline at the top, the captions at the bottom, because that headline sometimes immediately, oh, okay, she's talking about, stop making silent movies. What does that mean? Immediately, you know what I'm talking about. So that's really important. So that's the length. 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Anything longer than that, I personally go up to sometimes 3 minutes, but it's not recommended. So that's a time frame.
All right. The other thing that I think that is important about videos, whether they're 30 seconds or 3 minutes, is they need to have subtitles. Do you agree with that, or captions?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So first of all, they say that about 80% of the people who are on LinkedIn, are watching with the captions on. It could be they're in a private situation. LinkedIn actually makes that the default. So people have to purposely turn up the sound. So this is really important. And you also have to think about, this is an age where we must be inclusive. We have literally thousands of people, millions of people in the world who are deaf. So we need to have the captions so that our videos are accessible to everybody. But in addition to that, you also have people who English is their second language. So, you might say, everybody understands what I'm saying. Not necessarily. If this is not your native language, you might need those subtitles so that you can follow along and understand what the people are saying. So yes, captions are a must, and especially if you don't have a headline on your video, your captions let me know what you're talking about too. So that's important. So yes, captions are a must.
All right, somebody's asked how you get the captions. Now, I use rev.com and download it as a .srt file, which I then upload when I'm putting a video. On the rare occasion I'm doing a video, I upload it when I'm putting the video up actually on LinkedIn. Is there another way to do it, or a better way to do it?
It depends on well, first of all, yes. That's the short answer. The short answer is yes. So rev.com is a very good way to go if you want to outsource and have somebody take care of it for you. Mm-hmm. I have found most people, if you're going to start to do videos and you're not just doing one and you're never ever going to do a video again, but if you want to actually really start making this a part of your content, you'll want to learn how to do it on your own. So I recommend you can have what's called closed captions versus open captions. Closed captions are the kind that users can toggle on and off. That's usually what you see on YouTube, but they're on LinkedIn as well. And then open captions are burned right into the video. And I'll tell you straight off, open captions are much easier for you to upload your video with those captions already burned in. It just makes life easier, because otherwise when you're uploading to LinkedIn, now you got to get the SRT file. It's a lot of stuff you got to deal with. So that being said, it now depends on what device you are using and you're comfortable. Some of us are PC people, laptop people. We want to work with that. So then I would recommend Captioning Tools. Subbly is my favorite. I love that tool. That came out of Australia and England. It's sort of a joint effort. Subbly is a wonderful way to go.
Is that S-U-B-L-Y? Subbly?
S-U-B-L-Y. And just to let you know, I have a handout that I'm going to give you that is going to give you the websites, reviews of all these places, and I will send that to you, Lynnaire, or we can put a link into the chat. Everybody can download it. I don't make you give me your email address. I just give it to you with love, and you can learn about all the tools that I'm talking about today. Should be in this, because it's called the video tools I use. Like you can't get more focused than that. And so Subbly is one that I like to use if I'm working with a computer. If I am working with a phone, I actually have an iPhone, and for an iPhone, I recommend using something called Clipchamp. It's 100% free, and you can use that on an iPhone. Or if you're an Android user, I recommend a tool called AutoCap, and that can be for Android or for iPhone. And again, it will do all of the stuff for you. So what's awesome is your video, they automatically, all these three programs that I just talked about, Subbly, Clipchamp, and AutoCap, all transcribe magically for you. They take your video, they go through their little AI machines, and then they put the captions on the video for you, and then you can like fiddle around, and it's like, oh, they spelled Jillian with a J. I'll just fix that. You can do little tweaks and fix it, and then you can choose your colors. Like, closed captions are black and white. It's just, that's the way it is. But open captions that you burn into your video, they could be pink or purple or green or whatever color you want them to be, and you can move them off the video into the canvas. And that's what I like to do, so that I said I have a headline atop of my video and the captions below my video, so that my video is clean. It's just me talking with no words over my face. So that's what I recommend for captions. You can do free with Subly. There's also Pro Plan you can get to, but they do have a free forever program. Clipchamp is completely free right now because it's in beta. And then AutoCap is free, and they put like a little teeny watermark, but if you want to get rid of that, you have to upgrade. None of these are deal breakers. They're not going to break the bank if you want to go pro, but you can also stay for free.
I like the idea of being able to edit captions, because as a writer, like to make sure that those things are correct. And I find too that sometimes when we are doing a video, that the words don't always come naturally, or we might stumble and stutter. But you don't want those kinds of stutterings, if you like, to be in the text of the captions. You want to be able to take those out, and you want, as you say, you want to be able to fix mistakes. So I think that being able to use a program that allows you to make changes to your captions is a really good idea, and it makes a lot of sense. So what we'll do with that is we will send that to people tomorrow when we send the replay of the video of the webinar as a PDF for people. So we'll send that to your email address that you use to register for the webinar on. So you won't miss out on that. Now, you mentioned a headline. I'd like to know more about doing headlines on a video, because I do see those from time to time, and that you excuse me, you're talking about the kind of thing that you would see on a news video, right, where you've got some words at the top and then the scrolling along the bottom.
Yeah, kind of think of it as a sandwich. It's a video sandwich. So think of it as if I had like a blue background at the top with a cute little headline, then I have my video in the middle, and then at the bottom I have again blue, and then I have my captions. So think of it as kind of a video sandwich. And what it does is it makes a square video, which is a wonderful technique to do on LinkedIn, because square videos, and that's something we need to talk about too, you don't ever want to do vertical videos, because vertical videos look great on phones, but they look horrible on a computer. And that's when you have these kind of blurry bars or black bars at the side, and it like just makes you look all squished in. So you always want to do your filming, you want to film this way, not this way, always like this. And or you film in square, which is kind of a challenge. There's only a few programs that do that. So most of the time you're making the choice between a vertical video or a horizontal video. Now, a square video, why this is so important on LinkedIn is it looks awesome on a computer. It looks awesome on mobile. And we just have to say, people are looking at LinkedIn on both ways. So you do want to capture both audiences. But more importantly, a square video takes up, I believe, 78% more space in the newsfeed. So if you think about it, you're scrolling through the newsfeed and you see a square video, you don't see much of anything else. You just see that video. It's kind of crowding out the rest. And so if you think about it, remember we talked about your hook is your bait and your fishing. It's almost as if like you took your little worm and you made your worm gigantic. And now you're just kind of going, I have something to really show you, and you're not even seeing what other people have. So it's a way of kind of like, really owning the news feed. So I highly recommend that. Plus, it's nice to have your captions not fighting with your face. Yes. That's what happens on a horizontal video. And then I just want to add in the handout that the PDF that you'll be sending out to everybody, I also recommend 2 computer tools that I like to use. This would be whether you're talking about a Mac or you're talking about Windows, they work with both. And what they are is, and I highly recommend this for people who say, I don't have any editing skills. I'm a real newbie. There's 2 programs I recommend. One is called Veed.io, and again, it will be in the handout. And the other one is called Capwing. And what they do is they allow you to take a 16:9 video, right, the horizontal video, and you can bring it into their online editor, and then you can make it square with this canvas, the headline at the top, the captions at the bottom. It allows you to edit your videos in there, which is nice because you might not have editing tools, and you might say, oh gosh, at the beginning, it's like I was all ready and then I sneezed. I want to cut that part out. You can use this tool. So you would upload your video, you can do your editing, and then here's what's awesome. Both Veed and Capwing do automated captioning right in the program. So it's like an all-in-one. So you can upload your video, edit your video, polish it with your fancy square thing, do your captions all in one tool. Don't get better than that.
Is it idiot-proof for people like me?
Yes. Yes.
I'm very pleased to hear that. All right, so Capwing sounds like it would be a really good program to be using. So I'm assuming then that what we do is we've got our phone, we've taken our video, and we're going to be doing it, recording it in landscape. Then we're going to upload it to Capwing or whatever program that we decide to use, and then we are going to make all our fancy changes to it to make it look fantastic, and then easily upload it to LinkedIn without having to add an extra SRT files or any of the rest of that. That sounds easy. And one of the barriers that I personally have is the technology side. And I try really hard to keep up with the latest technology, but I do find it a challenge, and I bet I'm not alone because things change so fast. I mean, but look at us, here we are having Zoom webinars where, 2 years ago, nobody had really heard much about Zoom at all. So we're doing them every day with people. So we do, I think we're much more adaptable now with technology than we're used to. That's for certain. Now, I want to ask about the kind of videos where it's not one person just talking. Now, someone who's on the webinar with us today, Simon Fawkes from Auckland in New Zealand, put up this morning a really good video that was, I wouldn't describe it as animated, but it was graphics. He had lots of different graphics in it and words, and it was really lovely. It wasn't terribly long. The words were easy to read. It had a really good message. So if somebody wanted to do something like that, how would they go about doing that? How did Simon go about doing it?
I don't know. So Simon he did such a good video. I almost felt like we need to just have Simon come on and talk. I called it a Simonism because he talked about everything that I would talk about anyways, because he was talking about subtitles and making it square. Like, he kind of went through all this stuff. So it was fabulous video. So some of the tools that you can use is, number one, you can do videos in Canva. Canva is a graphics program, and it now has video in it. And some of the things that you can do in Canva, which are brand new, is you can do a presentation. So you can make almost like a PowerPoint slide, like a slider, a PowerPoint, and then be a little circle bubble and, talk your way through the PowerPoint, and you can video it. And now, I think probably within the last couple of weeks, Canva now allows you to download that video, and now there you go, you have a video. So that's one thing. Another tool, this is not one in my handout, so everybody, I'll have to give you the website for that because I didn't usually think about talking about this, but there's a program, and I think you'd love it, Lynnaire. It's called Lumen 5, Lumen 5. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it takes blog posts and turn them into videos for you. It's the most incredible thing in the world. And it puts in stock video, and you can have music in it and slide words across the screen. This is not something you're in. It just creates it for you, and you can tweak it and kind of say, oh, I want these words instead. And literally AI, artificial intelligence, takes your blog post off your website, and you just give it the URL, paste it in, and it makes a video for you. And this is one of the ones where I say to people, if you struggle with that whole idea of, I can't get before camera, go and do something like that first, or use Canva, where you can just make, one scene, and then you can have something fly in. Canva has stickers and GIFs or GIFs or whatever you want to call them, does all sorts of different things. So you can use some really basic tools to do fun stuff that are not talking head videos. And then another program I highly recommend for anybody who, as part of their business, likes to teach people how to do things. I recommend Loom, Loom. This is in my handout. And Loom allows you to do a webcam video like this. It also allows you to do total screen sharing. So it's like, here, let me walk you through your LinkedIn profile. Let me show you stuff. But it also allows you to do a combination of you as a little teeny circle, and you can figure out, you can move yourself wherever you want to be on the screen. And then you're literally talking to people. So Lynnaire, I can do a profile review for you, Jillian. You could pull up my profile, show it on the screen, and be this little head in the corner, and you're chatting with me, telling me, and you'd say, over here, I really like how you did this, but if you want to just make it a little bit better, here's what I would add, and you can talk them through it. So those are some great ways that you're not just doing talking heads, you're doing all sorts of different kind of videos.
Oh, I like the idea of that, because I think that being able to do something visually is an excellent idea. All right, so now then, why don't we have a look at an example? A connection of mine, Raju, sent a video that he had put together for us to have a look at during the webinar today, and for you to have to explain to him what he was doing that could be done better. Are you happy now to share that? Let's see if we can, if the technology cooperates.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and okay, so we should be able to just go, and I have it right here. And just let me know that you are in fact seeing the screen.
Yes, I can even hear him.
Okay, so I'm going to just play it for like maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute. Just it is a long video. It's 16 minutes, so we're not going to do 60 minutes. So I'm just going to play it for a minute.
Morning. Today I want to talk about how our identities, who we are, how they're connected to what we want, what we visualize for ourselves in the future, and how to optimize that link, that connection between who you are and what you want. Someone once told me that your identity reflects your intentions, and your intentions reflect your identity. So they are like two sides of a single coin. But before I go into that, let me share with you a quick story about a coaching session that was done on me by a friend who had been recently certified as a coach. And she said, Raju, I want to help you get out of a rut that you're in now. Now, side note, most all of us are in some kind of a rut, one time or another, whether it's health, wealth, or relationships.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that right there, and I'm going to just kind of walk through and give a little review. So for starters, this is a YouTube video, so we have to take the mindset of, if we were seeing this on LinkedIn, what would we think? So the first thing that I want to do is, I always like to start off a critique by saying what I like first, and then I'll talk about what I would suggest for improvements. So the first thing that I'd have to say is, I love that he filmed this the correct way. So he is using what I recommend, which is that sort of TV version. It's called 16:9 ratio. So he's filled it nice. He has left this space here, right here. You can see to the left of him, right of him. It's hard to tell when I'm looking at a screen, but he's left a space. And then as he talks throughout the video, he has text appear in that space. So that is good to sometimes have what's called the rule of thirds, where you kind of leave a little open area so that if you wanted to put a graphic or text or something like that in it, you can do that. So I thought that was good. I thought it was nice that he was conversational. I didn't feel he had any kind of pitch going on. He spoke nicely. He is a Toastmaster, so we've connected. I know that he's a Toastmaster, and he makes eye contact. So it makes you feel like he's talking to you. So these are some of the good things. I like that he created what's called a thumbnail, and a thumbnail is really important even on LinkedIn because it's the first frame that people will see when they're scrolling through the news feed. And also too, if you make a video as a featured item on your LinkedIn profile, it's the thumbnail that will be displayed. So it's very important to have you don't want to get it caught where you're like looking funny or goofy and you're just like, oh my goodness, for all time, I'm going to be stuck looking like that. Because LinkedIn, yeah, it's just a horrible thing to do. So having a thumbnail is really important if you can do it. And I do have a tutorial on my YouTube channel on how to do that with Canva, and it doesn't cost you a thing to do a thumbnail. So that's pretty easy peasy. What else? Those are some of the things that I would say that I liked about this. He also gave you an idea of where his video is going to go. So he kind of gives you a little bit of a roadmap of what he's going to talk about. So here's some of the things that I would say to improve the video. So for starters, I found it very difficult to hear. And this is where I would recommend having a lapel mic if you're doing a video like this outside. It's good to do videos outside because you get the light right. And so I often like to go outside and do videos unless you have a ring light or something like that in the house. But the problem is that I heard birds and chirping and then even sort of, I think further in the video, it gets real noisy for a while. And it was hard for me to hear that. And it's important for people who think they want to also add music, which he doesn't do that. But a lot of people think, oh, I'll put a background of music in. Don't do that. We just want to hear you. We don't need to hear a whole bunch of music because then now our brain is fighting. We're listening to the music. We're trying to focus in on you. So here would be my recommendations. I would have started this a little bit further in. I think when he gets to the point where he talks about, let me tell you a story. You say those words, you catch people's attention. Yeah. We love stories. So storytelling is a fabulous form of content to put in our videos. So I would have just kind of started in a little bit quicker. That was kind of a real picky thing, but I know Toastmasters, we always want to improve, so we do like to know how we could do better. So I think it's an awesome YouTube video. However, I don't think that this would be appropriate for LinkedIn because it's so long. So what I would suggest is that he takes this video and he goes through and he talks about 5 particular points. Well, literally, he could break this into 5 separate LinkedIn videos that are 2 minutes or less. So that's one idea. A second idea would be to take this video and maybe start it in like around, where he starts talking about, okay, I'm going to talk about this. We wouldn't want to start with the good morning because people could have already scrolled through LinkedIn on that. So if we kind of jump right in to where he really gets in what this video is about, if he did a 1 or 2 minute video trailer where he took the beginning of this video, posted that to LinkedIn as a video and says, if you want to watch the whole video, go over to YouTube, and then he provides the link. That's one thing that he could do. But another thing that I noticed he did, which I'll just zip over here because I do have his profile here. I pulled it up and I noticed that he included this video in one of his recent posts, which I thought was awesome. So here's the video, and what he did was he created a LinkedIn article. And then if you go through the article, he's basically, he's written this as a blog post, as an article. And then if you go down to the very bottom, he has, okay, scrolling here. sorry.
That's
okay,
a good long article. Yeah.
So here he has watch the video, and then he has a link to the video. Here's what I would suggest. You can actually, and to me, this is gold, you can embed a YouTube video or a Vimeo video right into a LinkedIn article. And I'll show you what it looks like. So if you come over to my profile, I have a blog post right here, a LinkedIn article. So I have a LinkedIn article, and this is what I have, which is called How to Be More Comfortable on Camera. So what I have done is I have embedded my videos, and look, they're right on YouTube. And yet if I hit play.
Hi, this is Jillian here to give you a...
What do you see? You see the YouTube right inside LinkedIn, and people never leave. And that is, to me, a really awesome way to repurpose YouTube content, or if you had something on Vimeo, a professional thing that you want to talk about, embed them into a LinkedIn post. So that's what I would suggest.
Well, I really like that idea because I'm a fan of articles. I know that some people think that they aren't the greatest audience grabber, if you like, and that's true that views of articles are much fewer than ordinary posts. But what I argue is that they build up into a good solid library of work that really enhances your credibility and demonstrates your knowledge to people. So if video in the middle of a long article like that one that you just showed us of Raju, who's actually on the webinar with us right now, if Raju had put some of those videos actually into that long article, that would have broken it up really nicely. And I like that idea because when you add images to articles, they can be a bit variable in their quality and how they display. Sometimes they're just huge and they just take over the entire page, and sometimes they're too small and fuzzy and you can't get them quite right. But I like the idea of putting in the video, and I just want to make sure that I've got it completely clear. You embed them from YouTube or from Vimeo. That's what you said. Yes.
Those are the only two places you can do it from. I don't know why. You know, you look at other places, Wistia and Loom and all that stuff, they just don't embed like that. Only YouTube and only Vimeo. Those are the only two places.
Okay. So that makes sense.
And it's the same for the same thing with YouTube and Vimeo. It can be said for direct messages. If I take a YouTube and I copy and paste the URL, you know, the share URL from a YouTube or from a Vimeo, and I paste it into a LinkedIn direct message, you can see it and play it within the direct message. It doesn't pop you out into something else. Whereas other programs, if you copy and paste it in, then when you click to play it, it launches you out of LinkedIn, and now you're, on Loom's landing page or something like that. So there's something magical about YouTube and Vimeo and LinkedIn. They got some sort of little triangle going on there. So it's just kind of one of those secrets to know.
Right. Okay. Well, what I wanted to do now is to have a look and see whether there were any questions that people had. And I'm just going to buzz down here to the Q&A because I think that's where people might have put some questions. Now, so Raju, who we've just been talking about, has asked about Peasy compared to Canva. Now, I have no idea what Peasy is, or was that one of the ones that you mentioned?
No, Peasy is not something that I use. Peasy is kind of like PowerPoint. It's kind of like Microsoft PowerPoint. Peasy is cool. It's just not a tool I've ever used. I prefer Canva because I can do anything in Canva. I can make image posts. I can make GIFs. I can make videos. I can make so many things, templates. I make my blog posts in there. I make my thumbnails in there. So I don't think that Peasy allows you to do all that. It's been a while since I've used Peasy. I'm all in on Canva, and I am not a Photoshop person. I don't believe in having complicated tools. Mm-hmm. Canva is awesome, and really everybody get the pro version because you can do some amazing stuff.
What I was going to ask was whether the paid version of that was really important because I use Canva too, but only the free version, and I find it very limiting in terms of what I can do. So I think that getting the pro version is probably a very good idea. Now,
I love it.
Yeah, somebody's asked what's the simplest way to record the original video on a Mac?
On a Mac. Okay, so again, this is going to be in my handout, so you'll be happy to know that. So in the handout, I refer to, if you have a Mac, you can use what's called the Photo Booth app. and it comes with your Mac, and you literally click it, and there's one thing to take a picture, but you click the other tab and you can make a video, and there you go. You've got a video. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to use your phone. And if you're on a Windows computer, I believe that there's some sort of equivalent. And I also recommend a webcam app. It's called Web Camera IO or something like that. You don't even need to have an account. You don't need to sign up. You can literally just go there, click, turn it on, make a video, click, turn it off, download it, you're done. It's honest. There are great computer tools all in my handout.
Right. Well, I'm very pleased to hear that, because I've learned another thing today. I do my webinars on quite an old Mac, to be fair, and rather than my newer Windows or Lenovo. And it has got the photo booth here right in front of me. I can see it at the bottom of my screen. I did not know it had a video function, and I have had this computer an embarrassingly long time. So that's something that I've learned today as well. All right. So just wanting to check with anybody else has got any other questions, or whether there's anything that we wanted to cover today. I recognise that we've been here for nearly an hour. Is there anything else that we wanted to cover today, Gillian?
We got to talk about the video cover story coming. That is so exciting. And I just want to tell people, I can give you tips right here and now that are going to help you launch and be ready for when it comes. So the video cover story is part of creator mode that's coming. And I don't have it yet. I'm just like, here I'm a video person. I don't have it, but there's no rhyme or reason. I don't know where it's, who's getting it and who's not, but I can tell you, I do know how it's all going to work. So first of all, crazy as it sounds, right now, you'll only be able to make a portrait video. So everything I've said about vertical videos, you got to ignore for creator, because that's where it's going. So essentially, the way it's going to work, just in summary, so everybody understands how it works, it will show up. You have to have creator mode, and you can't see anybody else's until creator mode has been rolled out to you. You don't have to have turned it on. And some people might not want to do creator mode because it's going to change your profile a little bit, and it also makes you automatically have to go to follow first instead of connect with me, and some people don't want to do that. But anyways, you have to have at least have it rolled out to you that you could have it, if you so choose, to see other people's. So this is kind of a weird thing with how this is rolling out. But once you have it, once it's enabled, what will happen is you'll be able to take a video, and where your profile picture is, when somebody goes to your profile, if you have the video cover story, what they'll see is an orange circle around your profile picture, and then your picture will they're calling it the Harry Potter effect. It'll be the first sort of 3 seconds of your video. So it's like an animated GIF. That's what it's going to be similar to. And the interesting thing is that will be silent, just like a GIF is. GIFs never have, that's just how a GIF is different than a video. GIFs never can make music or anything. And then if the visitor clicks on that picture, then it will launch and show a video. Now, the video, you can see it on a computer or on a phone, but sort of like how that audio pronunciation thing happened, you must make your video cover story using the LinkedIn app on your phone. You're not going to be able to make that video on the desktop. So here's what you need to know. Number one, you can use LinkedIn's video app. That's part of, the LinkedIn app. You can make a video and upload it. It's a vertical video, so I rarely use it unless I'm sending a direct message video in the direct messages. But what you can do is you can use Clipchamp, which is in my handout, or AutoCap, which is in my handout, where you can record your video and caption your video so that you could be a step ahead and have a totally accessible video, because the LinkedIn app doesn't allow you to caption. It's going to be coming one day. That's what they said, one day, that it's going to come in the next couple months. They'll do captioning. So the first people out of the gate are not going to have captioned video. So you can be ahead. So the trick is, Think about now, what do you want that video to be? You have 20 seconds, and you think to yourself, 20 seconds, how long is that? That's about 60 words. And think of singing Happy Birthday to You, you know that song? Sing it twice. That's about 20 seconds. That's about 20 seconds. So think about, what should that video be about? Don't make it salesy. Make it about, think about, what is the purpose of that video? Somebody comes to your LinkedIn profile, you probably want them to connect or follow. So begin with the end in mind and say, what do I want to say? So maybe I'd say, hi, I'm Jillian Whitney. I'm a video coach, and I'm so excited that you're checking out my LinkedIn profile. I love to help people. Why don't you connect with me? Something along that line. I just made it up real quick because I haven't figured out what I'm going to say yet. Maybe throw in something interesting, a little bit of a zinger at the end that makes people go, ooh, she sounds really cool. Maybe you say, I'm a best-selling author, I'm this, I'm that, or, I got 80 cats in my house, just something crazy. And then here's the other tip. Think about what your profile photo looks like. You probably want to make your video look a little bit different. You don't want it to look exactly the same. So if my profile already has a picture of me in a black shirt with this image behind me, maybe I want to go outside so that when somebody comes to my profile and they see it going for 3 seconds, we want it to look different enough to catch my eye. If it's exactly the same look, you might not realize that it's moving, it's talking. You might not get it. So you might want to think, how could I make it a little bit different than my picture? So for me, I break all rules by having sunglasses on in my LinkedIn profile photo. I break all the rules. You're not supposed to do that. So maybe my video, I don't have glasses. So it's kind of like, ooh, the woman behind the glasses, what's she really like, And maybe I use that as my sort of shtick to start it off. So, begin the creative juices now, start practicing, use Clipchamp, use AutoCap. You're going to have to use a phone for this. It doesn't matter if you have an Apple or an Android, an iPhone or Android, or it doesn't matter. Use one of those two programs and get comfortable. Get your timing right, get your captions, and then as soon as it's rolled out to you, boom, you're going to be able to just run with it. So that's my tips.
That sounds amazing. One question I've got about that, Gillian, you know how your photo follows you around LinkedIn, whatever work you're doing, wherever you're going, whether you're commenting, whether you're inviting people, whatever it might be, your photo follows you. So when you have a video on that as a profile photo, if you like, will the photos still be there and follow you around LinkedIn, or does the video follow you around?
I don't know that. That's a really good question. So I know a couple of people who have already got LinkedIn creator mode. I'll go ask them. What happens, because I can't see them, so that's the hard part. I don't have it yet, so I can't give them that feedback. I would think it's not going to follow you everywhere because video takes up resources. So I would think that's not going to happen. I think it's going to be your standard static photo. It's just going to be when you're at your profile, that's when the movement will happen. So that, from a technical computer standpoint, that's what I would assume. But it could be wrong.
I guess we're just going to have to wait and see, really, because it's going to be, I hear various stories, or not a story as in a LinkedIn story, but various ideas about when it's going to be rolled out. And some people, as you say, already have it. Others, like you and I, are still waiting. And it's not rolled out geographically. This is just one change amongst a whole bunch that LinkedIn is currently rolling out. And so we just have to wait, because we've got no way of knowing how long that is going to take. But I do hope that we will all have it perhaps by the end of the month. And you're absolutely right. We need to get onto it early so that we can make sure that we make the most of it. Now, we've just run over an hour. So I want to thank you very much indeed for being on the webinar with us today. And I want to just give you an opportunity to be able to tell people a little bit more about where they can reach you, what you might be able to help them with, and any other information that you might want to share with us, Gillian, this afternoon as a we've just been bombarded with so much information that I started writing some notes at the beginning and then thought, no, I'm just going to have to come back and listen to it all over again.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think you've covered it all. On my digital business card, think about it. That's my LinkedIn video that I put right on my digital business card, and right underneath it is the PDF that I'm talking about using anyways. So that kind of covers it. Just to let everybody know, I do offer one-on-one coaching. I also have 2 packages that you might be interested in. One is a whole guide of like how to get over any sort of camera shy fear, and that's like a 2-session video coaching program. And then I have one specifically on how to do LinkedIn video. So if you said, okay, I want to have a video strategy, how do I do that? Then I have a package where we do that, and we work together through about 3 sessions, or you can just hire me hourly. And I do have a price break. If you decide to go for 4 hours, you get 20% off. And then we can talk about whatever you want. So whether it's about YouTube, whether it's about LinkedIn, you just have questions, you need help, hand-holding with the tech, there's a lot of stuff. And I just want people to know there's a lot to juggling with video. There's the tech, there's the fear, there's the content. That's 3 things you're having to juggle. And the most important thing is buy this book. Make sure you have this book, because it's really, really important. And I tell people this. Video is a second-day thing for LinkedIn. You must have a profile that is professional and ready to go, because otherwise video is going to encourage people to come to your profile. And if your profile isn't ready, don't invite them over yet. It's kind of like having a house party when you haven't unpacked the boxes after you've moved into a new house. It's the same thing. And make sure you have kind of hit that 500 connections or more, because if you only have 40 connections, 30 connections, there's nobody going to see your videos, and you're going to be very, very depressed, because videos are a lot of work. So make sure you have the cornerstone foundation of a good LinkedIn profile. Buy this book, and then you're ready for video. So, but you must have the foundation in place. Otherwise, don't build the video house.
I absolutely agree. And I think that if you're doing anything on LinkedIn, you really do need to have an excellent profile to be able to start with that. And that's one of the services that I offer. And I don't talk about profiles much in my book, Gillian. I talk more about the different strategies that people can use on LinkedIn to be able to build that trust and enhance credibility. And so if anyone is interested in getting in touch with me, these are the places where you can find all out about me. You can follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn. We can have a chat. I've got a number of resources on my link tree there. You're very welcome to have a look at those. They're all free. Or, of course, as Gillian says, you might like to buy a fantastic book to keep you occupied. Now, there might have been a few more questions while we've been wrapping up this afternoon, and we will make sure that if there are any that we think have not been covered, that we will, when we send out the email tomorrow with the replay of the video of the webinar, that we have all of those questions in there for everybody who might have wanted to ask a question that we didn't answer today. So I just want to wrap up by saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm really thrilled that you were able to, I'm really thrilled that we could find a time that worked in Las Vegas for New Zealand. What time of day is it in Las Vegas now?
8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock at night.
Oh my goodness me! Oh,
and it's a different day.
Oh yes,
you're in the future for me. So that's a kind of it's like I feel like I should go to the casino now with all this knowledge, because I'm a day behind. I don't know.
It's Thursday, and I can tell you there's been no major world events today, so you'll be fine. Thank you so much for joining us from Las Vegas and spending your evening with us. We have really, really appreciated it. And I'm so thrilled that, and I can tell you that we've had more people who've registered for this webinar today than we have had for any of our LinkAbility webinars before. So we we are really thrilled because it's quite clear that people want to do video on LinkedIn and they want to learn how to do it properly. And if you are going to do video on LinkedIn, it is important to do it properly, to get the techniques right, to be able to make sure that you create the right impression with everybody. So thank you so much, Gillian. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you.
And we will see you again in May for another LinkAbility webinar. And for that, we're going to be talking about company pages. And this is a bit of a minefield for a lot of people. They don't know whether to put time into company pages or not. So we'll be talking with Michelle Redmond from Australia, who is an expert in company pages. And I'm looking forward to that too. But in the meantime, as I've said, tomorrow we will email you the replay of Gillian's and my chat today, along with the PDF that she's going to send you for all the information that you need for the various different technical aspects that she has mentioned today about using video. So thank you so very much for joining us today. We really appreciate your support, and we will see you again on the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.